Hi girls. Thanks Amanda for having me. Sorry, let me just set this up. You don't need to see down there. A bit better. Gonna see if anybody gets on live. I'm gonna put my glasses on so I can see you better. So, I might need to check I'm in the right group. That happens to me all the time. Especially if nobody gets on. It's only just 8:01 though. I feel like I should put some tunes on and like, I don't know, sing. Yay, Amanda's here. Am I in the right page, Amanda? I really hope so. I unplugged my lamps so I have no great lighting. You get to see my big forehead. I do only have 30 minutes. Okay, good. I'm in the right place. Thank you for confirming that. So I'm going to switch you this way a little bit. Yeah, otherwise you get to see my mess. Alright. Can you see me okay? I have no more on my nails. I know it's always fun. Everybody wants to know what you have on your nails when you go live. So there we go. There it is for the replay, people. Alright girls, Amanda asked me if I could jump in here and say hello and chat to you guys a little bit about balancing your work-life balance, your home life, home, work, all of it. Okay, so I'm gonna let you in on a little secret, okay? You ready? Get a piece of paper and a pen. You're gonna want to write this down. Here's the secret. The secret is hard and there's no magic trick, but there's a couple of things we can do that will help, right? So let me tell you a little story. Let's see. I'm in my PJs, just got done doing karate with my boys, and so I had a shower and got all ready. Hi Georgina, thanks. And I just got all ready. So here's my little family. I know that Amanda put this up, but I want you to understand what I'm talking about here. So this is my oldest right here. This was taken 2 years ago. Well, 18 months ago. This one is my oldest and he's about to turn 9 now. This one's my middle one, a little crazy. He just turned 7. And this one is my youngest and he just turned 4. And then my husband right here. We're a military family. We live in Georgia. And I'm from the UK. So anyway, life keeps us busy with these three little munchkins. And it's Jamberry. Jamberry keeps me busy too. And as much as we do Jamberry, we also do Taekwondo together. I'm going to get to this in just a second. Taekwondo together, we do... Gotta get some nourish on these hands. We do Taekwondo together. The kids all have swim at different times, swim lessons. Seasonally they do soccer and baseball, and then whatever else is going on in the community, because hello, we have to be involved with everything. But let me back up a little bit. When I first joined Jamberry, my youngest was 5 months old and my oldest was 4, 3 and 5 months old. And so life was a little bit different back then, right? They were all I had 2 preschoolers and then a baby, and so my hours looked very different to what they do now. And I'm gonna tell you, it was freaking hard. There is no wrapping this up in cotton wool. There is no pretending. There is no excuses. It was just freaking hard. And I hope you all appreciate my honesty, because sometimes I think sometimes we try to say, join Jamberry, it's easy. What? It's not. It's freaking hard. And so anyway, I gave up baby's nap times. And I worked my butt off. And then going through the summer when the kids were out of school, crazy long school holidays here. What is up with that? 12, 13 weeks at a time? Anyway, needless to say, there has to be a way. I had to come up with a way that this is going to fit around my life. And the first thing I'm going to talk to you about is vision. I know what, I swear every video I do, I talk about vision. And the reason why I'm talking about vision is because When I first started Jamberry, my husband and I and the family were not headed on the same path. We had totally different views about what this business was going to bring us, and most of them underestimated me. But I came home from my first conference. I joined in March and I went to the first conference in June, and I decided I was going to make $8 grand a month. Like, I wanted to out-earn my husband. I mean, nothing crazy, right? And I came home and I shared that vision with him, and he laughed. And I don't think he meant to. I don't think he meant to, or he didn't mean to be derogatory in any way, but it was just that flippant reaction, because I'd been a stay-at-home mom for 4 years, and we'd lived in Germany, and I wasn't able to work, and my working life was way long ago. Like, it was almost a distant memory, but that was a problem for me. I couldn't recognize myself. I found myself being surrounded by dishes in the sink, spit up on my shirt, piles of laundry everywhere, and I couldn't, it wasn't me. It was something I struggled with, and I loved being home with my kids, but I wanted the best of both worlds. I wanted that professional side of my life, but I also wanted to be home with my boys. So anyway, when I came home and shared that vision with him from JamCon, he kind of laughed, and he laughed it off like, this is probably not going to happen. And anyway, so I worked towards that vision, and those 6 months until December were hard, like grueling. And I had that goal. That's what I wanted to achieve, but it wasn't something my husband gave a crap about. And so we looked at this business in 2 different ways, and so that was a huge problem. And so I'm going to encourage you. Sorry, I feel like I've got like a booger hanging out. Hang on. I don't. But let me just wipe my nose in case I don't have to have it on my hands. But I just newly nourished. I know. And I'm doing this live to you. Anyway. So for those 6 months, we were like on totally different tracks. And I'm going to encourage you, like, if that's something that you're at with your spouse right now, you need to fix it. It's the first thing you need to fix. You need to have a sit down conversation. You need to decide where you want this business to go and what you need them to do to support you. That's my biggest number 1 tip. And as my kids have gotten older, I've also gotten my kids buy-in. And I'm going to go through that here in a second. So vision for your family, vision for your life. What do you want to get out of this? And you and your spouse need to sit down and decide 5, 10, 15 years from now, what is my life going to look like? What house am I living in? What car am I driving? What purse am I holding? What shoes am I wearing? Like, what does the inside of my house look like? What does my social life look like? And you need to paint that picture, and don't hold back. Like, dream big. If ideally 5, 10, 15, 20 years, what does your life look like? Where are your kids right now? Like, what are they doing? What colleges they go into? What schools they go into? Are they in private school? Do they go to swim league all year round? Like, get specific and figure out what you want your life to look like in those years. And then you can work purposely with your business. And I'm not saying you don't already, but if you don't have these things in line, the rest doesn't really matter, because you'll just live in the day-to-day chaos of your life, and you'll be working Jamberry on the go. You'll be flipping out at your kids, and it's just not a good place to be. So make sure you paint this picture of your life, of where you want to go and what you want to be doing. So having, being, doing. There are three ways to look at it. What will you have? What will you be? What will you be and what will you be doing? Is Jamberry the center of your life? Are you going to be working Jamberry full-time instead of your full-time job at that point? Like, what does it look like? Okay. And the way I break these things down, having, been, doing, yes, is something, but I like to break them down into 4 areas. And I actually got this from Tom Barrett. He's a success writer, and he says to break your vision, if you like. It's not really vision. Vision, why, and goals can always be talked about interchangeably, right? Your vision is what things look like, where you want to head, and then your why can be like, I want to be doing Jamberry so that I can pay our mortgage. I want to be doing Jamberry so that I can pay for my kids' sports. And that's where these come into these brackets I'm about to talk to you about. So 4 areas that Tom Barrett talked about, brackets, 4 areas. The first one is practical. So that is usually something that pops straight to mind. Like, if I said, what's your first financial goal? That would come to mind. And for us, it was, initially when I started, it was making a profit. We were broke as a joke, and just was scraping together that money to even join. And so That was my first goal. But since then, it's become much bigger, right? Paid off a car, paying off student loans, paying off a credit card, like all those things that are practical things that are going to help your life, all right? But guess what? Those things are not going to make me jump out of bed every day. They're not going to make me pick up that phone and call my hostess. They are not going to make me pick up my phone and book a party. They're just not, because it's not motivating enough for me. Okay, so you need some other areas to back that practical goal up. The second one is fun, frivolous. Okay, this is where it does become super fun. So I don't know if you're a shoe hoarder or a bag hoarder, whatever you want to do. Yeah, Tom Barrett, Amanda. Whatever it is that you collect, jewelry, makeup, whatever, stationery. What do you want to spend money on? What can you not resist in a store? And this needs to become part of your why and part of what your life vision looks like. So if you live in this super fancy neighborhood, do you have hardwood floors in your house? Is that something fun, frivolous? Do you have like all this amazing farmhouse decor that you can't afford right now? That becomes part of your life vision. It becomes part of your why. And so that fun, frivolous side of your life, like for me, it is decorating my house. There's nothing wrong with my house. It doesn't need anything fixed or anything like that. It's just additional stuff or things. But for some of you, it might be Coach purses or Michael Kors sunglasses. I don't know, whatever they are. Fun, frivolous, okay? That you put that on there. Okay, the next one is memorable. And this is where we start to get our kids involved. As they got older, we started getting them involved in my business. And it wasn't necessarily how you think. It was vision planning. It was how can our kids be invested in this enough that I can have 5 minutes peace and work? And so we set goals with them. And first of all, it was a Disney trip, right? So here I am in my office working away, and then the 4-year-old comes knocking on the door and he's like, Mama, I need a snack. And I'm like, right? Can't get anything done. Okay, so I have a conversation. I look at him in the eyes, very calm, and I say, where do we want to go this year? And he's like, do you want to go see Mickey Mouse? Yes, I want to go see Mickey Mouse. Do you remember the conversation that we had with Dad and brothers at the weekend? And we talked about Mama's goal with Jamberry and we're going to go to Disneyland again. He's like, yes. I'm like, well, I'm doing that work right now in order to get us there. So you need to go and be playing by yourself for 15 more minutes before I come and help you with your snack. And off he goes, running away. He does. And I get it. Sometimes it doesn't happen like that. Sometimes all hell breaks loose. But we added them into that planning. So anytime that I have to do work while my big kids are home, we have that plan. And I remind them of that plan. Like that's a goal that we're trying to achieve. And I can't achieve that goal unless I have uninterrupted time to work. So that memorable goal for us has been trips. One a couple of years ago when we first started to get them involved with this was oh, I just got cramp in my armpit. That never, what? Armpit cramp. Doing that, armpit cramp. Don't try that at home. When we first got the kids involved with this, it was the big kids, and it was around their birthdays. I was so sick of how much money we were spending on birthday parties, like redonk, right? And we didn't even do much for birthdays. We just stayed at home. I made pizza or meatballs and spaghetti, and we just invited their friends around so they could play, like have a big play date. But I still tried to keep it to $100, and I always blew it. And then you start to go looking somewhere else, like bowling or the trampoline in place or whatever, and it's like hundreds of dollars. And I was like, this is crazy. They are never going to remember this. They're way too little, okay? And they're never going to remember this, and I just think it's pathetic. Like, we have play dates with their kids, with their friends all the time. You know, randomly we'll go to the park or we'll go to Airstrike or whatever, the trampoline in place. And so how is that really special? You're just like dumping a load of money on there. And so anyway, I went to Australia. Well, I've done a couple of trips, but this is where it really hit me. I went to Australia last year, and Rachel, who I travel with, and Rachel Engelbretson and I. Sorry, this is shaking. My tripod is not secure. We went and walked the Sydney Harbour Bridge. Oh, I have low power. we walked the Sydney Harbour Bridge, and on that walk with us was this girl from New Zealand, and it was her 16th birthday, and all she ever wanted to do for her 16th birthday was walk Sydney Harbour Bridge. And so that's what she did, and they were from New Zealand, and it was awesome. I was like, oh my gosh. When I was younger, for my 18th birthday, we did this big thing. We jumped out of planes, me and my brothers. We jumped out of planes, we went parachuting, and it was huge for us. And I know that we're in a situation here with Jamberry that I can provide awesome, memorable things for my kids for their birthdays. So we had this conversation with them, and they all chose trips. Just a day trip, you know, as they're younger. As they get bigger, it's an overnight trip. Next weekend, or this weekend coming, we're going to go to Charlotte, which is just 2 hours from us. We're going to spend one night in a hotel, and we're going to take my kid to see, my 9-year-old boy, to go see the NASCAR Hall of Fame. That's a memorable trip, and that's something that I'm working towards with Jamberry. Not to say that he wouldn't have something outside, like if it weren't for Jamberry, like we'd still celebrate his birthday, but we wouldn't be able to do it on this big scale. And so the reason why we got them invested into our goals is so that we can do things like this. And at times when it's super busy and I keep getting interrupted by the boys, we just anchor them back to those goals and refresh them on what it is that we're trying to achieve together as a family, to refresh their memories on the goals. And then I at least get another 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes sometimes, maybe sometimes even an hour of peaceful, uninterrupted time that I can work. Okay, and we all know that as busy mums, you have to be productive in the time that you have, right? Even if it's 5 minutes, you've got to get something done. And so when I know that they need me, I actually work faster and with more intent, and I'm much more purposeful when I do that. And so then I knock a bunch of work out, and then when it's time to, after 30 minutes, always hold yourself to your time, set a timer, do what you need to do. Then I can go spend the time with my kids, and I can be present while I'm there. Okay, so memorable was number 3. And number 4 is significant. And we do this a lot around Christmas time. We involve the kids again. What is a way that we can give back to our community? What's the way we can be a blessing? I say Christmas because, you know, there are always things like angel tree and things like that that we can do with them. But throughout the year, we also talk about our goals, being able to tithe at church and those types of things. So being significant, passing it on, doing something for others. And again, that's a way that you can get your kids involved and help you with time to work. So there's the 4 areas that I want you to put goals into place, a part of your why into place for your life vision, and then work purposely towards them. And as you need to throughout your days, just remind your kids of what's going on and why you're working the way you're working. And it will help them stay connected with what you do and make sure that they understand that it's important and they need to respect your time. So that's helpful for me. All right, another couple of tips. I have like 12 minutes before I have to get off here because I'm coaching my Aussies on a Monday night. Okay, so another tip is set hours and be present. Now, I'm going to say set hours, but I know as moms sometimes we have to be flexible, right? Sometimes the kid is homesick and you need to snuggle on the couch. Okay, you work for yourself. That's a good thing. Okay, but set hours as much as you can and try to be consistent. So if mail day is Monday, try to do your mail on Monday. If follow-up is always on Friday, do your follow-up on Friday. And be consistent about the hours you work, because that also tells your kids that you take your work seriously. It also tells your customers and your hostesses and your potential recruits that you take your business seriously and you have set hours. Every business has set hours. So do that. Monday nights I work. It's, you know, especially in the fall, it's Monday night football, so my husband doesn't give a flip. And we just decided Monday is a good night. We spent the weekend together. A Monday night for me to work is not a big deal. And so I load, if I have overseas calls, when this is the only time that they can get on to chat, that's when we chat. But then I had tried to be really protective of all the other nights, okay, other than party nights. And again, I'm protective of those. So I try to work only 2 weekends out of the month where I'm gone. So in-home parties, events, those types of things. And we book those out. Like, have that conversation with your spouse. If your goal is to live in a mansion on a lake, that doesn't come by sitting twiddling your thumbs and not working ever. And so you have to make a plan and decide these are the weekends we're going to work, and you're going to book them out as long as you can. Sometimes things happen, right? We get it, and you have to change things up, and that's okay. Be flexible. But if you can lay those hours out and lay those days out that you're going to work, then you can all be on the same page and just know what's coming. So set hours, but be flexible if you need to. what happens when you set hours is when you're not working, you can be fully present with your kids and your family, right? So if you're not setting hours and you're just working your business in and out, like, and being harmonious with your family, just kind of going in and out, and you know, you're texting on the go or whatever it is you're doing, you can't be present in either area. You can't be great at both things at the same time. It's just impossible. And so I know that as moms, we're good multitaskers. I get it. But when you're with your family, try and be present. Like, for example, I really don't need to watch my kids swim anymore. They really don't want me to watch them swim anymore. Sometimes the little 4-year-old, he's like, hey mom, I'm over here. But for that 30 minutes that he's swimming, typically I take note cards. Here they are, look. And they're little plain note cards. And I just wrote love bomb, like hashtag love bomb, so I can love bomb my team. And I just sit there writing them out. It's nothing that requires much brain work, and if I need to look up and watch him swim, I can, but I can still work my business at the same time. So there's going to be times where you can be transitional and multitask, but for the most part, if you're with your kid, be present. Okay. Help. Involve your kiddos if you can. So if they're old enough that they can be involved, get them involved. I have a crate down here with all my catalogs, my host join brochures, the success brochures, and tons of labels, where when my kid has 30 minutes and if he wants to, he can sit there and label my stuff for me. Winning. Yeah, and here in the US, I don't know if it's the same everywhere else, but we can write that off on our taxes. You can actually pay your kid up to $6,000 a year. Go to what is it called, TaxSpot, and ask them. But yeah, you just keep a record of their hours that they worked and how much you paid them. I did not pay my kids $6,000 a year, but that's awesome, right? It's better than paying a babysitter, which you could also do. If you're paying a babysitter and they put your kids to bed and then they're there another 2 or 3 hours afterwards, have them label your catalogs, okay? So if you have littles, that's the way to do it. We did that in the past too. But now that my kids are older, okay, my labels are crooked. It's a family business, and I make a joke about it at my parties. I'm sorry if you get a catalog with a label that's a little crooked. My kids help me with my business. Okay, so use their help if you can, okay, with your biz. Use to your advantage. Your kiddos are connected with so many people. So we go out and about Walmart, and my middle one, man, he knows everyone. He's like, oh, hey, Isaiah. Hi, Eli. Hi, James. And I'm like, who are you? Well, guess what? All those kids have moms. And so my little 7-year-old is super, super social. My others are too, but he's like the most social and outgoing. He just knows everybody. And so when we're around town, I make a point to stop and chat and say, oh, how do the boys know each other? How do the kids know each other? How do the friends know each other? I haven't seen you around. And I make a relationship with that mom. That's a good contact. Okay, it could lead to a really good friend too, and some fun play dates for my kid, but it also allows me to touch more people. That's weird. To reach more people into my cold market, right? Sorry, that was weird. But also they have teachers, they have teacher assistants, they have people that help out at their schools, they have friends' parents, they have people that they play soccer with and taekwondo and things like that. And I think so long as we're not just sitting there on our phone just like looking down, we're making eye contact and we're building relationships around town, your kids can be an outlet to your cold market, and that is huge. You can literally use them to build your business. Today we after karate, so I do karate with my boys, which I'm getting to, we had to drop a hostess order around to one of my hostesses' house on the way home, and my oldest was like, so how much money did you make from that order? Well, then I had to explain to him what hostess rewards were. But I'm teaching him about business all the time. Like, how does Jamberry work? So how do the sales work? The hostesses, the recruits, how does that help build my paycheck? What does that bring to me? What am I talking about on a daily basis? Who am I working with? And so having those conversations with your kids can really benefit them, and they can learn to understand what you do, and that's priceless. So let me tell you about taekwondo. I've got 5 minutes before I have to get off. But so a few years ago, Jamberry was like taken off for me, right? And I was working like a fiend. Seriously, it took work. I I was having at least 10 parties or events every month. It took that to get my business up and going, at least. And anyway, it was hard work, and I told you my husband and I weren't on the same page, and it was hard. My kids were really little, and it was hard. Anyway, we seemed to get over this hurdle. We got on the same path, we were tracking the same thing, and I was like, you know, the kids are getting older and they just started wanting dad more, and they only ever wanted mama when they were sick. And I was like, this blows. Like, they've all been like mama boys, you know what I mean? Like, they've always wanted me, and now all of a sudden they're getting to want their dad, which is a good thing because he's in the military, so he's gone a lot. And finally they wanted dad, which was great, and it gave me a break here and there, and it meant that I could leave if I wanted to and go shopping or go have coffee by myself somewhere. But I was like missing that relationship with them, and so I decided I need to do something for just me and the boys. What can we do? So we decided to do taekwondo together. We can train on the mat together, and it allows me to, I have to focus on taekwondo and nothing else, otherwise I literally get a fat lip every time. But it's something that we have together as a bonding thing. But similarly, I found that now that my boys are older, my 2 boys are in elementary school, and my youngest boy is in preschool, and he goes every day for 4 hours. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is tons of time to work my business. I got suckered into the Facebook hole because I didn't have good systems. So I got get good systems, started doing that. And then I was like, man, I have all this time and I feel so overrun and so just overwhelmed and run down. I don't take any time for me, and I'm 100 pounds heavier than what I used to be, and what happened to my life? So I come full circle, like the 4 years ago before I joined, where I didn't recognize myself because I wasn't a professional anymore, and I had spit up all over my shirt and my hair in a messy bun. Hasn't changed, and dishes piled up and laundry piled up, and all of a sudden I was like, oh my gosh, I'm back in the same place I was, and I hadn't been putting me and my family first. And so it's really, really important that you decide that you take time for yourself every month. And I say month because I know you're not going to do it every week. If you do, fist bump to you. If you do it every day, like where you work out or you do devotionals or something like that, huge double fist bump to you. But for me, every week I do try to do something. It doesn't necessarily happen every week. I don't book anything in for Friday, so if I decide I don't want to work, I can. But I do something for myself every month, whether that be a haircut, whether it be a pedicure, whether it be just going having coffee or lunch with a friend, like where I take time out and I do something for me. And I think that's really important. So I hope some of these tips have helped you. And I should probably look through the comments because I've been ignoring you. Let me do this before I have to go. You guys are having a conversation. I'm just totally ignoring you. Yep, Tom Barrett. Georgina, I'm so sorry. And normally when I get frozen, it's like this really ugly face. Sorry. You're a giant coffee mug hoarder, but you can only drink out of one mug at the same time, Erin. Armpit cramp. Seriously, that really kind of hurt. I have to stretch that out. Yeah, get the boys involved. Get the kids involved as much as you can. Georgina, your 15-year-old takes catalogs to school to her friends. Hello. Yes. Yeah. My middle one tried to recruit his teacher's assistant. He's 7. Seriously. Talk to them about your business and they'll try and recruit for you. You should join Jamberry. They just planted a seed for you. Thanks, buddy. Yes, set hours. Oh, Amanda, you were like giving me lots of love and I have no idea why. Thank you though. Absolutely. I am so glad to have been here and happy to give any words of wisdom. If those who are on replay, sorry, I have to put this on because of the light. Those who are watching replay, if you'd like to put some comments in the bottom, if you have any questions about the way I do things, I'd be happy to do it. I feel like right now we have a pretty good balance. Dynamics are going to change for my family this summer because my husband's going to be gone for a year. We can still see each other on weekends, but he won't be here during the week to help me with bedtime routine and things like that. And so things are definitely going to change, but that's the beauty of this business. We can make it work where we're here for our family as well as doing our job well. It just takes a couple of things to get right in order to do it. So yeah. All right, I'm going to log off. I'm going to get on my Aussie call. I hope you have a great night, and I know that you have some amazing speakers lined up. Thanks again, Amanda, for having me, and hopefully this was helpful for some of you. All right, girls, bye.